Yeah. Yes. Just say the water.
Okay, we're going to bring everyone's attention to still point and just really give our full attention to our next presenter. And I just met this brother, and I know he's here to share more than just words. And he's here to share about his work, but also about his culture. He's bringing a very special medicine for all of us here today. I feel very honored to have him here. I have since 1987, I have a very deep connection to my Hopi family out on the mesas. And I was on my way to perform for Harmonic Convergence at Telluride with the Grateful Dead and Baba Olatunji, and it was like a dream come true for me as a musician. And on my way, I was brought to Hopi land. This is August of 1987. And it was at the time of a very sacred gathering known as Snake Dance. And it's a moment that really changed my life, regardless of say and at that point, I moved my entire life and my entire family to Flagstaff, Arizona, and really committed to be as much as possible in my humble way an emissary for the people and for the message and the medicine that they carry that is so extremely significant and important at this time. And this is something that's not new, but they've been holding for thousands of years in a sacred way. So I have the great honor, and I want to thank him and his family to be here from the Hopi Water Clan, Ruben, Saufkie.
Beautiful morning to everyone. Oi, paano halay ti chama itam tao kya Hopi nga nang ko sa ita ti mamuma. We took this journey from our homeland from Second Mesa and the village of Subopavi to come here to share a little bit of our culture, of our ancestry, and also through symbology. Ruben Saufkie Sr. yan pahan maatiwa. My English name is Ruben Monroe Saufkie Sr. Mam kasi yan Hopi maatiwa. My Hopi name, spiritual name, is Mam kasi, which means afraid of the bear. I am from the water clan of my people. I'm 54 years old. I have 6 children, 5 grandchildren, and 1 more on the way, and 1 wife. But I'm grateful for this blessing. I'm also very grateful, very fortunate to be in everyone's presence this beautiful morning, simply because I was given another opportunity to live. I'm a recovering alcoholic of 23 years, and it took that darkness of alcohol to teach me to be a better human being. So Brother Michael came to Hopi, and we sat, we even smoked a pipe together, and he invited me to come to share. And I asked him, what's the theme? What's the message about this gathering? And he said it was Regenesis. Oh, inside. Is that so? And I told him, I will come. But still time. There's still this time and hope for the rest of humanity to awaken their hearts. And I know this all too well because I'm very fortunate that Creator, the spirits, guided me through that darkness of alcoholism to wake up. So through my experience, I'm able to share my story with others to give them empowerment that they all can also change. But I was also very fortunate to be given the gift of creativity, So back there in the two tables, you see our art, but it's not just art, it's sacred instruments that we use to share the teachings of our ancestors. So I'm a silversmith, so I make jewelry using the symbology of our ancestors. To the left, this banner, in Hopi we call that Owateteveni, the Prophecy Rock Teachings. It's located in the oldest village in Hopi, but they consider it the oldest town in North America. It's over 1,000 years old, a couple of thousand years old, as a matter of fact. In that village, there's a rock that this is carved into. So thanks to my Japanese friends, they took a picture and made it into a big banner. So now I can share this on my travels. It's so simple. But that's what we were given, this simplicity of life, to share our teachings for the rest of humanity, for all life, for all beings. But I'm very fortunate that I can also speak my own language. I am not this person. So my grandfather would say, when you speak your own language, you have strength. So I'm very fortunate that I grew up in my family where the Hopi language was spoken every day, But then we also learned English also. So my first language is Hopi and second English, so that you can understand, so that we can communicate. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna light some sage here. To clear that energy. Anyone have a lighter? I have one. Okay. There you go. Ooh, all right. Reach out with your hands like this. Susukita para So I'm gonna move here to my left. I know you're sitting at an angle to, you wanna move scoot this way a little bit so that you can see the banner here. And I'm always open for questions so that whatever you choose to ask, don't hesitate to ask. But I'm looking for answers. Alexa. So this carving begins. Have any of you ever come to Hopi? You've been to Hopi, yes. Oh, Joshua, yes. Joshua's been to Hopi, and you've been to the rock, right? So I hope to come, you know. I mean that. And I have back here, I have my cards. So afterwards, you can come and get a card. And if you want to come to Hopi, just ring me up or on Facebook message me, become a friend, and I'll be happy to take you there once this opens up. Right now, it's barricaded because of COVID, you know. So the village, arriving, you know, they have their own village. I'm from a different village, so I have to abide by their rules also, you know. So once when they opened it up, I will let people know so that when you come, I can take you there. It's very easy to find. So this huge rock has a space here, and it goes down in like this. So this void here represents the third world. The third world where our ancestors came from. The third world, many people have fallen into the darkness. And that darkness is what is happening here in the fourth world. But it's heightened to such a degree. Right now, we all know that there is a war going on from Russia to Ukraine. But there's been wars and battles going on for a long time. And even with our own self. I spoke a little bit about my own battle with alcoholism. I cannot say I am healed. I am always in that recovery process, you know, always working on my darkness also. So many people have fallen into the darkness. Even the chief, the leader's wife, fell into the darkness. And this chief, he was very saddened by his children that had fallen into the darkness. But there were still a handful of people that were connected from their heart with their mind. And they wanted to escape this darkness. So they asked, Creator, help us. Help us find a place that we can escape this darkness. And Creator sent a sign and said, listen, not only from your ears, but from your mind, but from your heart. And when they followed the guidance, they heard footsteps coming from above. And they looked up and said, there must be someone living above us, because sometimes we can hear these footsteps coming from above. Who is living above us? Maybe there's a better place there. So they think, Creator. In Hopi, the men, we would say, Kwai, thank you. The women, they would say, Asquale. So women say, Asquale. Men say, Kwa. So they gave their gratitude to Creator. And they asked again, please, Creator, help us to find who is living above us. Creator sent a sign and said, ask the winged one to fly high. So they asked the bird called Yaupa. Yaupa is the relative of the mockingbird, a little bird. So they asked Yaupa to fly high. So Yaupa flew high, real high until they could not see Yaupa. Yapa flew and flew and flew, and he came to this portal right here. And when he came upon this portal, he came through. First thing he saw was starlight, light. Everything was saktala, green and luscious. There was a gentle rain. But more importantly, there was peace in this beautiful land. And Yapa looked around. Then he saw a fire. And sitting by this fire was this being. So Yapa flies next to the fire. The being looks at him and says, "Yes, welcome. Who are you? Sit down." He said. Yapa looks at him and says, "Haki." He said, "Who are you?" The being looks at him and says, "Masao." "I am Masao." And he turns and says, "Haki, who are you?" "I am Yapa. I came from below to see who was making the footsteps here." Masao says, "It is I. During the night, I walk the universe. During the day, I walk Mother Earth." Yapa says, "Well, the people down below want to come and live with you here. Many people have fallen into the darkness," Yapa told Masa. Masa said, "Uy, yes, I know. I've been watching them." But Masa said, "Well, when you go back down, tell the people they're welcome to come and live with me here, but they must find their own way." So Yapa was very happy. So he flew back down to the people, and the people were eagerly waiting for him. When he flew down, the people greeted him. "Thank you for coming back." And before they let Yapa tell about his journey, the few men filled their pipes with the tobacco they smoked. For us men, we're the ones that use the tobacco and the pipe to pray. But everyone can pray with the homa, which is in this pouch here. Cornmeal, white corn. And then when they finished, they turned their attention over to Yapa and said, "Please tell us of your journey." So Yapa said, "I flew high, and I flew so high. I thought I was going to, but your faith in me kept me going, gave me the strength to continue. And then I came to a portal. And when I came to this portal, there was light. Everything was green and luscious and growing. There was a gentle rain. There was peace in this beautiful place. Then I saw fire. There was a being sitting next to the fire. His name is Masa. He's the one that has been making these footsteps. And he knows what has happened because he's been watching you. But he welcomes you. He welcomes you to come and live with him. But you must find your own ways. The people said, "It's Pasquale." They were very grateful. Then they said to Creator again, "Okay, please send us a sign of how we can reach up to the portal." Creator gave them seeds, but it came through the chipmunk. The chipmunk gave them seeds of bakabi, of bamboo. In this story I want to share, it's a long story, and the way it was told to me by a few elders is always in our language, and everything is in detail. For me to do that, we would be here for a couple hours. So I'm going to make it short. I'm going to cut out a lot of things, but I want to get to the point. So the chipmunk gave them seeds of baka, and they planted the seeds. And then the few elders started to chant their sacred chants. The woman prayed. So the elders said that every time the prayer ended, it created a notch around the stem from the root So you can imagine song after prayer after song after prayer. Finally, the baka, the bamboo, reached the portal and came through. So this line here represents the bamboo. Here, I have my crystal ball bow in a heart shape. And here you see the bamboo here on both sides. This is our connection to the third world where our ancestors came from. And what also brought them was their heart. So when the bamboo came to the portal, the chief told the people, the very few people, you must quickly go to your homes and gather only what you can on this. And then we are never coming back. We are escaping this darkness here. But you must not say any word to anyone, not even to your own family, because they're the ones that fell into the darkness. And that's what we want to escape. So the people quickly went to their homes, only took what they could take on this gathering or this journey, knowing that they will never come back. So they all came back to where their roots were. And before they made their journey to climb, the leader told them, now someone must make the ultimate sacrifice and stay behind and guard the roots of this bamboo. Because those that fell into the darkness are going to hear of this and they are going to come after us. They might overpower you, but when they overpower you, they have the authority to cut the roots. So imagine this. Imagine this happened. Someone had to take the ultimate sacrifice on behalf of all the others to escape this darkness. So they began their journey. And the elders said there's two ways could have been possible. They used the rings around the bamboo to climb up. But then some of them say they went inside the bamboo also. And back then, our ancestors were very short in stature, only like 3 feet tall to 4 feet. But what they had was sacredness, the connections to everything. And the sacred songs are somewhat what we still carry in our ceremonies. That possible. So it took them 20 days from the third world to come here into the fourth world. The 20 days is still honored every time a woman gives birth. So from the time of birth, they count 20 days and they are sequestered in a dark room with no light, no sunlight. They have to block out the windows for the baby to be kept in this darkness. And the grandmother, like for instance, my 6 children, my mother came every morning to wash the baby, give them a bath with warm water, and smudge my wife. And then every 4 days do like a little sweat lodge to clean up her insides. And this boundary is for the baby to be protected. Also. So my mother has to make boundaries in the room. Like you saw me do the 6 sacred directions. They also do that with ashes. And on the 21st day, right before sunrise, my mother told my clan, the water clan, to come and wash the baby's hair and give them names according to our clan. And this was the son, father's son comes up. My wife, my child, my mother would go out to greet the son and say, here our son, here our father, the son and the universe, the spirits, welcome your child here. And the first name she'll say is the name she gives to my children. And then they'll come back, and then I go up onto the roof of the house, and then I yell out to the spirits, please, everyone, come and join us in, So like the meat, usually lamb or beef, and then the woman provides the white corn to make the stew together. And they would all feast. It's the joining of two families coming together. But the most important part of this 20-day purification is about building the baby's immune system, to give it strength to endure all the challenges, all the sickness that is out here in the world. So this is very important. Today, pretty soon, my oldest daughter will come, and you'll see she's pregnant. She's almost a little over 7 months now. And she's going to go through this ceremony also. So we're preparing at home. So it's part of our culture to do this, to honor and remember what it took for our ancestors to come from the earth. I say this because the women are very sacred to us.
Could you talk a little bit? I know that they talk about how the world has been purified many times through various elements, and that the people were asked to go in the earth. Any relation to Saufkie, and also the last purification of water when people fall from grace. Could you talk a little bit about these times of these purifications? And I know we'll get to that now. But could you talk a little bit about that?
Okay, I'll remind me that after I share this one. So I'm sharing this because this is very sacred to us, because what it took for our ancestors to come here. And then I'm also sharing it because of what is happening throughout humanity with the sickness of the COVID. So we're very fortunate that many of us still follow these sacred teachings. Unfortunately, now the women, sometimes maybe the young women, they don't go through this whole 20-day purification. They only do 10 days or 4 days, or they don't even do it at all, and they have a feast, and they wonder why their children get sick right away and are weak. This is the reason why we have to follow this tradition, this culture, that we were taught. And the women, like I said, are sacred. So everything we do for a woman, because you are the givers of life, the water. Everything belongs to the woman, the land, the house. So if there's an unfortunate divorce, everything goes to the woman. It's not a 50. And that's the way it should be, right? So when they came up, they saw exactly how Yahweh had described. And they went to the fire. They saw the being that Masa. Masa welcomes him. Yes, hey, Mahakim Yaktai. Welcome, welcome. Sit down. What brings you here? He asked. So they explained to him why they came. He says, yes, I've been watching you. And the leader asked, yes, sir. Can we live with you here in this beautiful place? Masa replies, fine, okay, he said. I live very simply and humbly. All I have to offer is my planting stick, soya, and my quart of water. So these are the 3 key elements for survival here on Mother Earth. I only have this, and these are the elements I work with to take care of Mother Earth and all life here. If you can abide by these principles, you're welcome to live with me here. Yes, we take this 3 elements to live with you here in this world. And then they ask him, can you be our chief? Masa kind of laughs. No, I cannot be your leader. That people ask, why? Why not? He says, look, I know what you've done to yourself. I know what you're going to do living with me here, because you come with a big, broad mind in your ego. That's what Master said. But maybe somewhere in the journey in life, when you remember the agreement, the covenant that we made with me, when that time comes when you remember, maybe then I will leave. For I am the first, but I'm also the last, what he said to them. So the people had no choice but to leave themselves. And then they were just about to go on their journey. And something very drastic at this point. The leader also brought one of his. Unfortunately, this child died at this point. So imagine the shock, the grief that the people felt. Why? Why? How can this happen in such a beautiful place? And then they started looking at each other and they said, someone must be from the darkness. Otherwise, this would have never happened in this beautiful place. Please identify yourself, the one in the darkness. Nobody came forward. So the chief said, okay, everyone get in a circle. So they all got in a circle. The chief goes in the middle. He reached into his pouch, took out some medicine. He put it in his mouth and he rolled it into a little ball. He said a prayer. He said, when I throw this up in the air, whoever it lands on is that person from the darkness. So he did. He threw it up and the ball landed right on this person's head. He approached the person and he said, is it you? Wait, yes, it is I. I am the dark one. So the people were very angry. It's okay, we will throw you back to where we came from. So they dragged this person back to the portal. And just as they were going to throw this person back down, the person said, Hanky, wait, he said. Look down where we came from and tell me what you see. So the people all looked down. They were shocked to see that child that happily playing with other children where he came from. And they asked, how can this be? The dark one said, when you die physically here in this fourth world, that is your spirit and your soul traveling to the ancestors and back again. The ever infinite lasting life. But if you decide to throw me back down, that will never become a reality. When you die here, your spirit, your soul will be lost forever. So the people thought of that. And while they were thinking, the darkness said, I, being the darkness, I can create many things using my power in the darkness. With what I create, it can benefit you if you use it wisely. But if you abuse it, it's what the dark one said also. So the people thought of that also. Then the darkness asked them, like I'm going to ask you, is there a balance when everything is good? Yes or no?
There's always a balance?
Is there a balance when everything is good? No. So the dark one says, I am here being the darkness to show you the darkness so that you can live your life in balance with light and dark. So the people thought of this and then they finally agreed to allow the darkness to stay. They said, we will allow you to stay, not because of what you can create, but you are right there is no balance when everything is. So we need that darkness to live that balanced life. But the real reason we will allow you to stay is that when we die physically here in this world, we want our soul and our spirit to go back to the ancestors and back again, the infinite everlasting life. This is about reincarnation. That's what we want. That's why you are allowed to stay. Besides, you've already contaminated and polluted this beautiful place with your energy, your spirit. But you will go on your own journey. So this was the day our ancestors had to embrace the darkness within themselves. Even though they tried so hard to escape the darkness, it still found its way up. Unfortunately, so everything that is dark came up from this place, this being, human being. So what we have that can benefit us of the darkness is right here, right there. That's the creation. It's beneficial, but then it can also destroy us also, right? So what happened was, Masao here was watching all of this unfold right before him. Masao didn't say anything, he watched. Because that wasn't his. He's a being himself. Not a human being, but a being. He let the humans play this out. And then when they finished, he said, I have something to offer to you also too. I said, I have these different colors of corn. Hello, Cindy. Yes, sir. Sit down. So then he laid out all these different colors of corn before him. Beautiful, purple, yellow, red, speckled, all the way on down. At the end was a little blue corn like this. And he laid them down and then he said, now choose, And those few people, some of them quickly got the most beautiful long corn until a little blue corn was left like this. The leader waited patiently and only took what was left, this blue corn. Masao approached the leader and said, you were very wise to take only what was left. With that little blue corn, you are given the life of Hopi, he said. You will help me to take care of Mother Earth with your language that has ties and connections to every part of your culture. You will go in your own direction. You will go with the guidance of the star. When you see this star above this sacred land, that is where your destiny is at. You will go in all four corners of Mother Earth. You will put your symbology into the stones. You will build your homes with the strongest that Mother Earth has to offer, which is sandstone. Wherever you go, you build your home, live your life, only to plant, take care of Mother Earth, and then make the next destination. That is like star. When you get to the star, that is where the Wanasali is, the center of the universe. So this beautiful sacred land here, our ancestors journeyed here also and lived here for a time being, until where we live now, this is where they journeyed, and this is where our land is now. I should say our land, the land. So these four corners are sacred boundaries of the mountains. In Flagstaff, we call it Ducale, which when the San Franciscans came, they called it San Francisco. So it's called San Francisco Peak. Towards Monument Valley, the Goatna Lake, Navajo Mountain, another name given. In towards New Mexico, Woodruff Bluff also, and Mount Taylor also. So within these 4 sacred mountains, this is where the star appeared. And right here in the star is where I come from, where we live today, Northeast Arizona. The mother village that I'm from, Sumopare. And here's, he said, when you get to this point, it is so barren, it is so dry that everything you do will revolve around your daily life. Remember, he said, this blue corn that the leader chose, you are given the life of Hopi. The name. So what happened was, we got spiritually arrogant, so we took the name upon ourselves. Hopi is a way of life, to live in balance, to live in unity, to live in harmony, to live in peace within yourself. It's the same teaching as reaching enlightenment in Buddhism. Once you reach enlightenment, you become Hopi. So the Hopi way of life is for all of humanity, not just us, So earlier I was telling someone, I think it was you, that I am not Hopi yet. I'm as Hopi as I can be. I'm living this life so that someday, hopefully, I can become Hopi. My grandfather said it best. You can never, ever truly become Hopi, and your time is up on Mother Earth. It's such a short time. So we do the best to live our life daily, to practice what Masao has instilled in us, So how we live our life today will reflect in the next life. But I know some people have attained enlightenment and have become Hopi. One person, one human being, for example, Buddha. Buddha became Hopi. So I wear Buddha with me every day in this little, it's a little book. And then I wear this also to purify me. Thanks to my sister here. She gifted me. Yes.
Do the Hopis and the elders talk about a connection with the Tibetan Buddhists?
Yes. She heard that question? So we do communicate, but our ancestors, they travel all through the 4 corners of Mother Earth also. So many people travel in all 4 corners. Some of them came back. Some of them became who they are today. So in one of our sacred ceremonies during winter time, there's this chant that we call Babasio Dawe. It's languages from many cultures, Buddhism being one of them, that are all in this song. And my grandfather would say, we don't know what we're singing about, but this song has been passed from our ancestors all the way down. It tells of all the travels they made and the language they brought back, from all directions. So in this sacred chant, it encompasses all of humanity. So our prayer is Saufkie sinwe amungam, for all of humanity. Susukite puninitu dakam amungam, for all beings that have life. That's our prayer. The simple symbology is right here in this corner. All these sacred kernels are all about children on Mother Earth. Not just humanity, but all children, all life, on Mother Earth, through the water, even it's simple. So Masao told them they found the star, they found the center of the universe. Then he said, here on Mother Earth, there are two paths of life. The bottom path is the Hopi way of life, when your heart is connected with your mind. The top path is only the Kahupi way of life, the opposite, when you're only in your mind. He said, he said, do your best to live this life, the Hopi way of life. So the ancestors did follow. They followed and they were living the life in harmony and balance and unity. And then boom, this happened. This first circle, the first World War. The first war is created by humanity up here. The ones that are only think from their mind and are disconnected from their heart. And when you look at them, they're smiling. They're smiling because they're having fun at other people's expense. You know what that means, right? Same thing that's happening in Russia and Ukraine. The ones that create this. And we're not right now, in a way, it's a joke, but not really a joke. We're paying a high price of gas for it. I think that's just it is. Here, so this happened. Unfortunately, many people died. And these human beings have the same energy from the dark one that came from the third one. So they bring on that same energy, that same spirit of destruction. Our ancestors, even though this happened, yes, it was devastating. Many people unfortunately died, but they continued to live through it. And then, boom, another war happened. World War happened. World War II, Different human beings, but the same mentality created this. And now we are at this precipice right here, where this line connects both paths. We have made many mistakes, all the way from our ancestors. But one important thing I didn't share from the beginning is Masao is the caretaker, the guardian. He has his altar here, his bow here, but he's pointing his arrow down below to tell us, never forget what happened to the ancestors in the third world. So that reminder is of our mistakes. I know you've heard the saying, history repeats itself. I don't think that way. I think that we have not learned from the mistakes of our ancestors, so we're the ones that keep repeating it. It's a cycle. Also, the cycle for me personally is that darkness of alcoholism. I grew up in an alcoholic family. I know the pain of what it is when you're a child living an alcoholic life. My mother was the alcoholic. I never wanted to become an alcoholic because of the pain, but I ended up becoming one. But I'm very, very fortunate that now I'm on this path, this red road. I've been on this path for 23 years now. And I broke this cycle for me so that hopefully my children don't go through what I went through. But honestly, my 3 sons are going through this right now. But my second son is now in recovery right now. Junior, so he's 23 years old. But he's also my inspiration to change my life. When he was born, it was my most inspiring. And I share this. He was born, me and my wife were asking him, what should your name be? So we're coming out of a book trying to give him English names. He would just look at us. He wouldn't say anything. Then in Hopi, I said to him, Senpai, or would you rather have the name like mine? He looks at me, he goes, Aku, I'm like, okay, Junior and Matsu. So I said, so okay, your name shall be Junior, And that also had inspired me. But at that time, I was still drinking. So imagine going through this 20-day cycle of purification. On the day right before his naming, they told me to go to the store to get some cups, utensils. Then I meet up with a friend and we drank, and I missed the whole ceremony. And that was my lowest. It was very inspiring, but it also was my lowest. I don't share this much, but from that guilt, from that shame, is when I began my recovery also. So I want Junior to be proud of our name. And I know my life has been good for quite some time. It was painful to go through that. But I'm grateful that he's in recovery right now. And as parents, we love our children unconditionally. The challenge is that we cannot change them. We cannot change anyone. We can only change ourselves. And that's where this line is at. As much as the people that are causing this destruction, we cannot change them. We can pray for them. We can only send them our prayers that hopefully it touches their heart and awakes them. Awaken their heart. Now, to have the compassion to forgive themselves. That's what it took me. It was hard to forgive myself, but I did. That's when I began to forgive yourself is the key to healing. Once you do that, you will be allowed to come back down and get back on the right path. This is my personal story, my experience. But you can live a spiritual life, a good life. You can easily influence and corrupt it into this life also. It's usually money that corrupts us just like that. So we have to be very careful. It's a two-way path right here. Here, once you come back down and get back on the right path, here is this line right here. That's the hope for the rest of humanity to awaken their hearts. Every time I share this, it gets shorter and shorter because time is of the essence. We have to wake up now. So these stories, it's a way of life. My way of life that I'm sharing with all of you, that through you, you have to share this with others, encourage them in the best way possible, give them empowerment that they can also change only through compassion and forgiveness. Because we do not want this half circle to become a full circle, which will become World War III, where we will completely destroy all life here. So I need your help to share this with many people as possible. I used to be very optimistic, thinking that everyone could change because, I'm changing. But realistically, no. Remember, it only took a handful of people to come from the darkness. Look at how it's multiplied through humanity. So you are also the messengers. So through what I've experienced, not because I am from where I am, I'm being and learning how to become, to spread the hopiness with everyone else, so that we can continue. This doesn't become a reality even amidst the darkness, even the war that's happening. There's still this light. We just need to make it more brighter through this darkness so that we can continue towards old age. So you see an elder here walking with his cane, going back. When we're born, we are at our most purest spiritual beings, especially when we're in our mother's womb and when we are giving birth to water. So pure spiritual being until we began to grow. Then when we become human beings, because all of these teachings as human beings we learn from it. Unfortunately, the children are learning a lot of darkness right now. So we must keep our positive teachings to them. This is what we always pray for. Wu mat katsi naman. Long mat katsi naman. A long, healthy, happy, Hopi life. So when we die, we bury our people back in the fetal position, back into Mother Earth. So when we die, our spirit, our soul will continue to travel and come back and live everlasting life. Unfortunately, here, if you don't find the compassion to forgive yourself, you may think that you have power. You might have all the money, a lot of money. And if you don't change, your life will be chaotic. And when you die, your spirit will be lost forever. Your soul never transitions. So we don't speak of heaven and hell. We speak of the two paths of life. And I know a lot of people throughout humanity, the world, talk about world peace. The true peace is within yourself. Once you have it, you share it unconditionally. Because this is the goal. Sumi, oneness. That's what the divine plan is. Okay. So join me in sharing this message, And my children are, hopefully, are they ready?
She's getting it right.
Okay. So we're gonna welcome our children. We're gonna do the eagle dance, And this also is about the eagle we call Guahu. Guahu is our messenger. We utilize all the feathers for prayers. So whatever you need in your life, not want, what you need is what we pray for. First for ourselves, and then for our family, and for humanity. So everything I shared about, you look at it, it's so simple. But the way it was told to me in different aspects, I molded into what I share now. And I know in some way it's planted a seed with it that will give you strength. And I say, this is my hopiness that I'm sharing with you. So another word that they put on the t-shirt is, don't worry, be Hopi.
Thank you.
It's so true, you know. When you live your life in balance, in harmony, in unity, in peace, you have nothing to worry about. You're free.
While we're waiting for your family to
Uh-huh.
do things, do we need people?
Yes, let's move back a little bit. From here.
Thank you.
So while we're waiting for Ruben, let's kind of hold this sacred space, you guys. There's a lot of time to socialize, but this is really unprecedented opportunity. So let's keep our chatter and our thoughts and just really be here to receive this blessing Ruben offers. And I want everyone to take a moment, because like you were saying about the Hopi way of life, this is the Hopi Declaration of Peace, and this has been spoken around the world and also at the United Nations. And so I just want to have everyone kind of hold the sacred space. Thank you.
Also, as they're coming, any questions? Please feel free to ask.
What's your, like the whole vision about all the prophets and messengers who came with the message of especially with Christ's consciousness? How do you bridge this to viewers? And the past?
Well, when we went in all our own directions, myself, what I did explain earlier, what I did share was all those colors of corn, each color represented also who they were going to become. So those colors that were chosen represents all the rest of humanity. So this is a good symbol for that. You know, many of you are the white cloud. My family and I are the red cloud. You are the yellow cloud. And then from the south are the brothers, the black people, the black cloud. We have our four sacred directions of Mother Earth to also keep the world in balance with your own culture, with your own connection to your ancestors, with your own prophecies. There's only one God, one creator, but many names, you know. So wherever you come from, you honor the Supreme Being in your own unique, respectable way. And what binds and bonds all of us humanity is the color blue, which is simply water. Our body is all made of water. So my grandfather say, "Itam susoy u umaute." We are all rain clouds. And whatever color you are that rain cloud offering to life, to ceremony. And this symbol here is not what's in. It's the French, your mind, and your heart are downstate. And when we learn in high school, you know, or in grade school, what happens? Make a positive touch. But Yes, well,